Hey everybody, Kyle, not your average finance guy, coming back with an example of how a carpenter and his girlfriend are engaged to be married, and I think she works at a dentist office in the front desk. But wanted to show you kind of how the numbers work here for their velocity banking, and then also as you get into the infinite banking concept of where they can be if they start early. So let's jump in. This couple has an income of a monthly income of $10,100. We got expenses of $9,500. That's everything. That's your gas, your utilities, gas, electric, phone, cell phones, fuel in your car, car payments, all that's mortgage, all that stuff. And then they've got a cash flow on that of $600. Here are the debts that they have. So you can see they got a nice house here, $411,000. Their payment on that is $2,015 a month. We got 6 credit cards with different balances here, and then here are their payments. And then they got a personal loan. Looks like they got $6,600 left to pay on that with a monthly payment of $225. We got an IRS loan or payment plan in place, and this they told me that they're paying $500 a month, and they don't think that there's any interest on that. So that's interesting. I don't know if that's true or not, but I can only go off of what they say. And they got student loans of $40,000, and that payment is $102 a month, but that is interest only. They are not paying down this balance at all with this $100 payment. So this is kind of where they're at. All in all, debt is $524,700, just about a little over $500,000. Their payments on that is $3,500. So out of their expenses of $9,500, $3,551 goes to debt payments. And they were able to get a home equity line of credit for $25,000 at 10%. So they do have that available. So what we want to do now is here's what we've got. So let's, even though this is 10%, it's not the best rate, we can get out of these. Let's get out of these credit card debts. What's the credit cards charging you? You know, maybe you've got an introductory 0% loan, but I doubt it. These are usually 20 to 30%. So let's start knocking those out. So what you want to do is you want to try to take whatever we can in this $25,000. So however we want to add these up. If you want, you can just take the first so many, start adding them up until you get to 25,000. What I like to do is I like to look at the payments. I want to knock out the more I can knock out in payments, the more my cash flow goes up. Because once you pay that off, you no longer have to make these minimum payments every month. So let's get rid of those. So what I did is I did a little homework beforehand, and I figured out that the personal loan, so we're going to take that one out. Credit card number 6 is gone, number 3 is gone, and number 1 is gone. So what we do, if we take those, we're going to take 30, of course my marker's going out on me now. Let's take 36, 72, 1887, 12,770, 6,635, and if we add all that up, I cheated, is $24,964 that we are going to pay those credit cards off, and we're going to move that into our home equity line of credit. Okay, and in doing that, it'll take our balance of our home equity line of credit up to $24,900, but we also no longer have to pay $141, $57, $314, and $225. That added up is $737 per month that we added onto our cash flow. So our new cash flow is now plus 600, 7, 3, 1337 per month is our new cash flow number now. So what we did is we freed up $737 to be able to put towards our home equity line of credit now, and we're going to try to get that knocked out as fast as we can. Okay, I added a couple things here while I was on pause. Sorry, I get all screwy. I hate it when people watch me do math. So what we did is we took our balance of our home equity line of credit, and we took that and I put it up here. Okay. What I did then was I took our income that we make, and we're going to put all the income, every paycheck that we get, we're going to put straight into this home equity line of credit. We're going to use it just like our checking account. Okay. Everything goes into there, and then all of expenses get paid out of there. Sometimes you might have to transfer from your home equity line of credit to your checking account, then from there be able to make your house payment or your mortgage payment, whatever. Not everything can be paid out of your HELOC, but most things can. I've got actual physical checks in my HELOC that you can write a check. It's got a routing number, accounting number, and you can ACH, and you can do everything. With most transactions can happen right out of there. So with that, you got your home equity line of credit balance with our income. So we take we're to plow all of our income, all of our paychecks go straight into there, knocking your balance down by $10,000. All of your expenses now, our expenses were $9,500, but we took 737 because we paid all of these off. So all of those are now gone, and we don't have to make those payments anymore. So remember, those added up to all this, which was $737. So our expenses were $9,500 minus $737 is now $8,763. So you'll have to add your expenses back in, because if it's in your line of credit, then we're going to pay those expenses back out of your line of credit. And then you've also got to pay your interest here on your line of credit. So remember, we said that this was a 10% line of credit that we got. And the way you figure this number, this is probably the hardest math of all. It's just tedious because you got to do it every single time. But the way you figure that is this is the highest the balance will ever be. Most home equity line of credit will take the average balance over the month, and they'll take that times your 10%, and that's what they will charge you for the month. So I just take the highest one. Your interest should be lower than that 208, but I like to be conservative. Let's just figure high. Okay, so we've got 24,964 times 10%, which, remember from 5th grade math my kids are doing right now, is 0.10. All right, so you just move the decimal point over, comes up with $2,496.40. Like, wait, that doesn't make sense, but that's per year. Okay, interest rates are always per year. So what you do is you take that number, then divide it by 12. So 2,496 divided by 12 gives you $208 for that first month. We've got the highest balance. Okay, so add that back in here. 24,964 minus 10,100 plus 8,763 of expenses plus 208 of interest gets you to 23,835. I said this was month 0 to start, so you get through. Here's the start now of month number 1. Same thing. Month number 1, we're going to take out our 10,100 of income. Of course, my marker's dying. And we are going to have to add back into there our 8,763 of expenses. And now here we have to figure out our new interest. If you want, you can just throw 208 in there again. You'll be more than covered. But in order to calculate it right, it's going to be 23,835. So this is just my scratch paper here. Sorry, 23,835 times 0.10 equals 2,383.50. Okay, so then just use your calculator. 2383.50 divided by 12 gets us to $198.63. So however you want to do it, round up, put 200 in there. I don't care, whatever you want to do. What did I do in mine? I called it 198.63. So we have to add 198 63, whatever. Interest, I like to keep whole numbers, otherwise it gets too screwy in here. And then month 2, that is 22,696. So 22,696 to start off month 2. All right, again, you go through after this, keep on doing what we're doing, minus 10,100 income plus 8,763 expenses plus what is our interest now? I got all this pre-calculated. Is, let's see, that one was 198, 179.57. So 179. Do the math there. Gets you to 21,548. All right, we started off almost 25,000. In the second month, we already got it down to 21,500. Okay, same thing, just keep on going. I'm gonna push pause and I'll do a little bit of math for you. You guys get the hint. Okay, I did the math on my own here, so you guys didn't have to watch me. I didn't have to get too nervous, but what we did here is we just worked all of our expenses, income, everything else down through the month. So where we leave off, month 3 was 21,548 minus your income plus your expenses plus your interest gets you to 2391, down to 19, 18, 16, 8, 15, 6. That comes up month 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're just doing a thing, right? Instead of making payments over here to our credit cards, we've paid all those off. We're using the velocity. Instead of making all these payments to the credit cards, we're making it to our home equity line of credit, okay? And every month we're knocking that down. So after a year, I always like to stop and see, okay, we've done this for a year, where are we at? We still owe $10,000. Not too bad. We transferred about $25,000, almost the whole thing we could. We paid off about $15,000 in a year. That's not bad, right? I think it's great. So what else do we have? We've got 25,000. We've got an extra 15,000 available to us here. What if we up our cash flow some more? So what if we go over here and what do we got left? We've got 1, 2, 3 more credit cards left. We got a $41,000 IRS bill, which if that's 0%, that's getting knocked down. I don't think I'd ever make extra payments on 0%, but that's what's out there. And then we still got that $40,000 student loan out there. So let's go ahead and we can knock out, 3745. Obviously, we're a year in. These are going to be lower. That one's probably likely paid off. I don't know. We're just going to say that something came up. We couldn't freeze those credit cards. We had to use it. You need new tires. You need new this, that. Life gets in the way sometimes. So let's say we still let's say that these balances are the same. Okay. So if we do that now, we'll take the 2295, the 813, and the 3745, and we're going to put those now onto our home equity line of credit. And in doing that, the $110 a month, the $40 a month, and the $47 a month all gets wiped out. So this is all just our scratch down here. So let's make a little bit of room. And let's see, we've got 3745. We've got 813. You see this all right? And 2295. So add that up. 13, that gets 15, 17, 18, another 68.53 that we're going to add on to here. So we'll just go right here plus 68.53 equals 113, 16, 7. So a new balance of 17,631. And then from here, we just keep on going. We're going to take out, now this is assuming we've never gotten a raise or a bonus or anything else, but we're just taking our old-fashioned income of 10,100. Now we have to that leaves the balance because we're paying it down, but we have to make all of our expenses back out here. But look what we did with our expenses. Our expenses went down by 110, 40, and 47 that we no longer have to pay. Okay, these are gone. All right, all of that credit card debt is now gone. We don't have to make any more minimum payments on a credit card. So this is 197, almost $200. Okay, so where was our old expenses was 8763. So which is right here. So now from here we can take off another 197, and that is, I'm just going to use my calculator. It's in my hand. 8763 minus 197 equals, I screwed that up, 8763 minus 197 equals 8566. So we've got 8566 now is our new expenses. So we have to add 8566 of expenses, and then we have to figure out what is the interest on that balance. Again, that is 17,631 times 0.10, 10%, and that equals 1763.10 cents. And then that's per year. So then we have to take 1763.10 divided by 12 equals our monthly. So 1763.1 divided by 12 equals, we're going to call it $147 now. So we have to add in, again, the 147 of interest. And let's add all that up. So here's what I've got it all in a spreadsheet here. I kind of changed some things, but if you're at home and all you need is a little calculator, pocket calculator, 17,631 minus 10,000. Whoops. Then you screw it up. You got to start all over. 17,631 minus 10,100 plus 8,566 plus 147 equals, our new balance is $16,244. Okay, this is, where are we at here? This is month 13. All right, minus 10,100 of income plus 8566 of expenses plus our interest. And I am going to push pause again and I'll do some more math. You guys don't need to watch me do that, and we'll get you right back up here. All right, we're back. Went through some more of the math here and we get out of the way. Worked everything through. Now check me with my math. It's not always perfect, as you've seen. We get all the way through. I basically showed everything we've been doing with our, our HELOC balance plus our income minus our expenses plus the interest back on that HELOC. Worked it all the way down. Once you get down to month 23, your starting balance is $1,700. All right. Income goes in, expenses go out. We say these all kind of happen all about the same time. We got only paying $14 of interest on that money. Now you're down to your home equity line of credit balance is only $200. So we can pay that off right now. We're good to go, right? So what do we do then? We're going to start year 2. So here we go, year 2. We are completely out of credit card debt. We've paid all that off. What do we have left? We've got an IRS loan at 0%. That's going to take 84 months. That'll just pay itself off. I'm not going to try to get. The only reason I would try to pay this off is to grab that $500 in cash flow, but it's really not going to speed anything up. That's cheap money right there. Okay. We've got the mortgage 2 years in. That's going to be paid down a little bit, probably still owe 400 grand on that. So we're not really going to make a dent unless we can pay that off. We'll save $2,000 a month. So not much we can do about that right now. What we can do is this student loan that the balance is just chilling there at $40,000 because we are paying $102 interest only. So I worked that out. That's a 3% interest only loan, which that's pretty good. So, but if the more we can knock this down, that will go down with it. Just like our home equity line of credit interest over here. Once our balance, the lower our balance, the less we pay. So I'm assuming that this is the same thing. So at this point, 2 years in, let's take another chunk. So what are we've got $25,000 available. We're just going to say that we're going to take that balance right back up to 25,000. We've got an extra $200 sitting in our drawer somewhere. We can pay that off completely, and then we'll take our new balance now. Starting month 24 will be $25,000. All right, we're going to minus our 10,100, and now we've got to add back in our expenses. So now what we're going to do is we took this 25,000 from the 40,000. So 40,000 minus 25,000 gives you 15,000 left. So now 15,000. Here's my calculator. 15,000 times. I'll show you what I'm doing here. I'm doing the same thing I'm doing right here. So we've got 15,000 times 0.3, which is 3%, right? So times, that's 30%. 0.03 equals $450 per year, right? So let's take 450 and divide that by 12 months. Divided by 12 equals $37.50. We'll call it $38. All right, is our new payment. So our payment went from 102 down to 38. So what's the difference between 102 to 38? It's $64. So now our expenses go down by 64. So it was 85.66 minus 64. We're now at 85.02 is our new expenses. So our new expenses come back over here. Now, as you see, we're still paying it down by our income, but we're only 85.02 is going out. When we first started, 9,500 was going out. Now we're all the way down to 85.02. So that's almost $1,000 a month that we've been saving over 2 years here, and we're just plowing it towards all of our debt. So plus 85.02, and then we've got to add in the interest, which I think I figured on that one was like 208, I believe. So we'll throw that in there, and I will push pause and do some more math. We'll come right back. Okay, I did the math. We left off here at the two-year mark. Month 25 gets us 23,610 minus our income plus our expenses plus our interest, gets us down here. I did the math down to month 35, gets us down to 9,060. At that point, we've got room then that we can take the rest of that student loan. Remember, we only owe 15,000 on it now, and our new payment here was 38. We're getting a little sloppy, sorry. So at this point, what we can do is we knock the rest of that student loan out. We put that on our home equity line of credit, and our then our expenses go down by another $38. So it was 8502 minus 38 on there is, I should know that off the top of my head, but I'm going to use my calculator. Minus 8 equals 8464. Is our new expenses. So from here, we got our new balance then, adding that $15,000 in is 24,060 minus 10,100 plus 8464. And then the money, or the, let's see, that is 24,060. I gotta come down. All right, sorry about that. Left off down here at month 35. Came up to 2460. We paid everything. It's basically paid off here except for the 0% IRS loan, which is getting knocked. That's 0%, so it's getting knocked down $500 a month. So I'm not worried about that one too much. Well, it's the IRS, so maybe I am worried. But anyway, going through the math, keep on cranking through that. That's our last one. Month 50, we've got a $925 balance. So 51 months, we can pay that off. Well, 48 months is 4 years. So in 4 years, we have knocked out everything but our mortgage, student loan is gone, and the IRS loan. So after 50 months of paying that loan off, we would, I can do that pretty quick. 500 times 50 is $25,000. So minus, it's 41,900 minus 25,000, 16,900. We go on that. All right. So at 0%, you could throw it back on your home equity line of credit, but remember, your home equity line of credit, you're paying 10% on that. So every time we have to add that little piece in right there, right? Every month, that's interest that you have to pay. Now, if you're trying to get this $500 a month back, yes, that could drastically increase your cash flow. What I would probably think about doing here is, once this is paid off, you've got a $25,000 safety net in your line of credit. Okay, and you could do that with your student loan too, but I don't want to get too confused. But with this situation at 0%, you could take your free cash flow, which is now $10,100 of income, minus what's our new expenses is 8464. So what is that? Is 10,100 minus 8464. 10,100 minus 8464 is 1636 of cash flow. Now, if you wanted, you could just make an extra payment to the IRS, make your $500 payment, add $1,600 to it. Maybe you add $1,500 to it, make it an easy $2,000, and that'll, if you're paying $2,000 a month, 2 more years, that's gone, right? Or no, one year, it's gone. So 2,000, yeah, that 1 more year, the IRS payment's gone. If you went back and did it that way, how long is it going to take you? It's going to take you a couple years to pay off the $25,000 to the home equity line of credit. So speed wise, here's your way to go. I would just make extra payments towards that IRS loan if that's what you really wanted to do. If you didn't care about it, let inflation eat that up, right? I'd pay that for 84 months. Down the road, what's inflation going to be doing? You're paying with inflated dollars, so they're worth less, but you're still knocking your payment down by the same amount. So this stuff is always so different. There's so many different ways you can go about it. This is just one example of what is possible. You can zigzag, go any which way you want, but here's how we got out of debt in just over 4 years. Basically got out of the hole with all this stuff. We still have our mortgage. That's, if you wanted to, you could start knocking that out too. I got a different way to take care of that though. It's called the infinite banking concept, and we'll make another video on that. Now that you're basically out of the hole, now let's get this cash flow working for us. Okay, if we can put that into another vehicle and have that start to make compound interest while you still have access to it, that's the infinite banking concept. And I'll make another video on that right now and put a part 2 out of this real quick. Thanks everybody.